Hey guys, it's your favorite entertainment reporter show here on YouTube. David Nuno with TexAgs Rewind, presented by T-Mobile. They want to remind you to visit T-Mobile.com/acrossamerica to learn how you can get value and coverage with T-Mobile. So we had to talk about Will Smith. We had to talk about Chris Rock. OB had opinions. I had opinions. Everybody's got an opinion on it. And I'm sure by the time you watch this, you're going to be sick of those opinions. I've seen too much of Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. Is it real? Is it not? It doesn't matter. It's a good talking point, and I really want to see a meme with Jimbo smacking Lane Kiffin. Not in real life, just a meme form of it, but nobody's given me that yet, so hopefully somebody watching YouTube will give me that. So we talked about that in the Go Hour. We had Jim Schlossnagle talking about the tough weekend here against Auburn, losing 2 of 3, and the future. Tom Hart, the ESPN play-by-play guy, SEC Network guy, ordered at Starbucks but was awesome on the show regardless. It was funny. This was a must-listen interview. And also Mike Lucas talking about his time now in Cleveland, but A&M in NYC. That's right, NIT. We're taking the show on the road there. Next time you watch this show, I'll be there in NYC. It's TexAgs Rewind. Are you on Team Will Smith or Team Chris Rock?
Well, first, let me say, didn't watch any of the Oscars because I couldn't care less. And even with this, normally I'll just say I'd be on Team Chris Rock because as I watch, I see Chris Rock tell a joke, which is what comedians do.
Especially at the Oscars.
And I see Will Smith laugh, and then he gets this cold stare from his wife, who you've told me things about that I didn't know. And so now he decides, okay, I'm going to defend her honor. Well, can't you do that at an after party or something? Just say, okay, babe, I'm going to take care of this, but I'm going to wait till the right time. How many times over the course of history in the Oscars do you think some comedian said something that really made a lot of people mad, or any other award show, and you behaved a certain way, right? Now you can say, well, you shouldn't have told that joke. Okay, fine, but I guess I wouldn't have minded, or I don't mind anyway. But I guess I wouldn't react as much if Will Smith had slapped Chris Rock at an after party.
Here's the deal: the double standard and the things that celebrities get away with. We talked about this. Let's say we're doing the TexAgs kickoff presentation luncheon, right? And I make a joke about somebody, and they come and they slap me on the face, or if Gabe's the MC, they slap him in the face. That guy is arrested immediately. Security is involved immediately. Everybody just kind of watched. And I think people watched initially because the first time I saw it, I was like, this is an act. But then if you see the behind-the-scenes footage or the unbleeped version, you see the language that Will was 100% for reals. Mm-hmm. That is assault. That is jail time. No, he's going to sit down. He's going to get an award a little bit later, and everyone's going to forgive him.
Yeah, I think when I watched, I'm surprised that they didn't have that. There's no security. That when someone starts to come on the stage when they're not supposed to, that someone doesn't come out. And I think the perfect way to have handled that would have been to escort him off and kick him off the premises. I'm talking about Will Smith.
Yep.
Then when he finally won that Oscar, that the fact that he was, I think so much of this stems from a joke Chris Rock told like 3 years ago about Jada Pinkett Smith being all pissed off that Will didn't get nominated for concussion. And imagine had he been escorted off the premises and then actually finally wins the Oscar and can't be there to deliver an acceptance speech.
I'm going to give you a couple different scenarios too, and then we'll move on. What if it was a fan who did that?
He'd be in
jail immediately. They would have probably Okay. Do you remember when was it Monica Seles who got stabbed?
Yeah, she got stabbed.
Yeah. What's the difference? Obviously, stabbed and slapped are completely different ballparks, but I'm saying the intent of going on and assaulting somebody is the same.
I guess Will Smith isn't a stalker of Chris Rock. I guess the other one was more premeditated.
Yeah.
But it is damaging, I think, to Will Smith's career. There are those that are going to support him. I understand that. There are those that are going to criticize Chris Rock, and I understand that. But to do that and then to shout the profanities the way he did, and then the fact that he's a guy that speaks out against violence,
Did it yesterday.
So the hypocrisy is there. And then when it starts getting out that some of the things that he will allow that involves his wife, but he can't take a joke, things that I didn't know until I was educated about that, more and more people are going to know.
Yep, it's going to bring more light to it. Jim, scoring the runs that you did this weekend, you have to like the upward trajectory of your offense, the way it's been trending.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we've put together good at-bats. I think, there's enough power in there. There's still too many strikeouts. But especially if we can get Werner, I don't know, he's probably I'd say he's real questionable even for this upcoming weekend, maybe 2 weeks from now. He can get out there. Defensively, he's more than ready to go. But yeah, I mean, we're competitive almost every inning. I think Logan Britt, still has some punch outs, but I think he's gotten an extra base hit in almost every game over the that he's played since we made some adjustments with him at home plate. Targac obviously showed what he's capable of doing. But it can't be all or nothing with, homer or strikeout. You got to be able to compete through an at bat. And, but for the most part, we're getting that up and down the lineup. So that side of the ball is, at least right now, not an issue.
Coach Schloss, Jack Moss, for the first time all year, really kind of struggled in the batter's box, and that's not something that I anticipate continuing. But I go back to he got hit kind of on his right elbow on Friday night. Do you think that had anything to do with his plate appearances throughout the weekend?
Well, he got hit on his hand, and so Troy, Claunch dove into the fence playing first base at LSU, and he says it's not bothering him, but I think these guys, they're a little banged up, but that's part of it. Jack also got pitched to really well. He also hit some ball. He had a big double. He hit a few balls hard, but they executed some really good pitches against him. And I think for Jack, maybe he just came back to earth a little bit after, I think at LSU, having literally almost every at bat, he was on the barrel. So we're just going to credit baseball and Auburn's pitching staff a little bit for this past weekend for him.
I'm talking to Tom Hart here on the BCSI hotline. All right, so the Final Four in the other tournament is set. We got some blue bloods out there. Do you consider Villanova? I don't know if blue blood's the right term, but so how about some real big basketball powers?
Yeah, blue blood, a new blood, right? I mean, Jay Wright is a Hall of Fame coach. They're an elite program. I'm gonna do something that will probably be considered very rude and not radio friendly, and so I'm gonna apologize right now. I'm not gonna curse. You don't have to cover your kids' ears if you're in the car.
Welcome alongside Starbucks.
Give me
call speaking.
Pleasure speaking with. Hi, it's David Nuno. Could I get a venti vanilla latte, please?
Venti vanilla latte, yes, sir.
Thank you.
That made me laugh.
Same drive-through every day. Different name every day, and either I'm the biggest jerk or they're just not paying attention.
I love it.
I don't know what.
Do that again, by the way.
The Duke-Carolina matchup is going to be one for the ages. You don't have to be a noted ACC homer. You don't have to be a Duke or Carolina fan. You don't even have to be a basketball fan to appreciate what this is. It's a rubber match of their 3-game series where Carolina put a stomping on Coach K's final game at Cameron Indoor. They have a chance to end his career, and given the history of that rivalry and what it's blossomed into over the last 30 years, really. That was always a great rivalry. ESPN and the opportunity to televise it to a nation took it to a whole nother level. Not too indifferent from Red Sox Yankees. Yeah, that was always a good rivalry, but then ESPN turned it into something that people coast to coast were interested in. I didn't say they all liked it, but they were interested in it. And so Duke Carolina to me is going to be a monster show. You're going to have all the former players in the stands, including NBA guys who have a Saturday off, are going to fly in for the game in New Orleans and probably fly back out. And I haven't seen too much of Villanova this year, but I have seen Kansas in person, and I watched a good chunk of that game yesterday. That's a legit Kansas team with defined roles, with star players. The one wrinkle is it like Remy Martin. Hi there, how are you? Thank you. It's going great. I'm talking to my friend David on the phone right now.
Hi, David.
Hey.
He says hi.
Is your reward? Are you going?
No, I'm good. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I love this. All right, so let's talk about the A&M basketball team, how they got here. I feel like we've had that same question pop up a few different times during the streak, but like there's no real easy way to answer this question because one day it's always defense, but one day it's like amazing interception style defense. Another day is hitting a bunch of threes. Another day is this. Another day is that. Like there's so many different ways that this team can beat you.
I think in hindsight, outside of that 2-month stretch where they didn't win any games, can we just say this team's good? And I don't think we've actually given them enough overall credit for what they've done this entire season, starting 15-2 in non-conference play and then rattling off this run later in the season. I think it's just a good basketball team that missed a few shots in key situations during a stretch against Kentucky, Auburn, some really good SEC teams who may not have performed well in the tournament, but their body of work was impressive. And I think when I look back at this season in totality, I think we underestimated how good this team was early and especially late. I think they're just a good basketball team that now the rest of the country is taking notice of.
Yeah, they're certainly a very good team. So when I look at what they did against Wake, I'm thinking to myself, man, they dominated Wake and they didn't shoot well. Like, how does that happen?
Being a good basketball team and defensively, when you take a team that is predominantly an offensive-centered team, when you take them out of what they want to do, it's hard to recover. And we've said this time and time again. Buzz Williams and that staff prioritize making the opponent take shots that they don't want to take. And if you can do that and put someone in an uncomfortable situation, an opponent in scenarios where they don't necessarily practice and they're not as confident in, it can muck up the entire game. It's almost like winning ugly in football. Well, there's no ugly basketball unless both teams are missing shots, which wasn't necessarily the case against Wake Forest. A&M didn't shoot great, but they made it so difficult for Wake Forest to get into their offensive sets, to get their guys where they succeed. And they completely stymied one of the best offenses in the ACC, including the ACC Player of the Year, who had maybe arguably his worst game of the year against this Aggie defense, despite the fact they're still undersized across the board. I mean, I don't know what the equivalent of a wrecking crew defense is in basketball. I'm not sure if there's ever been a nickname assigned to a unit like that, but this defensive performance of the last 2-3 weeks from A&M is nothing short of stellar.
All right, like it, subscribe it, comment, do all the stuff you're supposed to do after you watch these videos. Do it again, do it one more time, and tell your friends about it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow in New York City.